Recording in progress. And please do let me know if all the three signals are okay or not. Audio plus video plus screen. All three signals okay? That's good. That's good. So yesterday we had some discussion about the concept of entity manager. What is the mean of persistence context is. Apart from talking about the concept of persistence context, we were talking about what is entity factory manager, what is entity manager. While talking about some annotations, apart from talking about @entity, @id annotation, we were talking about @column annotation, generation type allocation, generated type annotation that is used to generate the primary key. And apart from that, column annotation, table annotation was also there. Then the discussion was all about the entity lifecycle. While having the discussion about the entity life cycle, we had some pointers to discuss. Initially, whenever you are creating a new object, then definitely the object is always available to you into the transient state. Whenever your object is available into the transient state, so definitely it does not have any concern with the persistent context. It does not have any concern with the database connection. Means it is very much like an object that is available into the memory. But as you are calling the persist method, upon calling the persist method, it is actually turning into the manage state. What is the mean of manage state? Now it is available in your RAM also. It is attached to the persistent context also, and it is attached to the database also, and all three are working in the synchronization. Means whenever you are making any changes into the object, then definitely update query is fired automatically on your database. Then let's say that if you are calling the clear method, if you are calling the close method, if you are calling the evict method, or if you are calling the detach method, in all four cases, your object will reside in the database, the object will reside in the memory, but it will not be part of the persistent context. Because it is not part of the persistent context, so this time, even if you are making any changes, then there is no luck, because database and object, they are now not in the coordination. If you wanted to take your object from detached state to managed state, then there is a method available. The name of the method is called merge method. Final state is available, that is called the remove state. In case of the remove state, definitely your object is removed from the persistent context and it will be deleted from the database also. May not be immediately, but later on. So overall, actually, you can see that in case of the remove state and in case of transient state, all the columns are looking same, but when you are talking about transient state, you are talking about something absolutely new that was not in the database ever. But when you are calling about the remove state, then something that was in the database, that was in the persistent context, but now it is not. This was the main discussion that we did yesterday. Apart from this, we were talking about, you can say that what is the mean of flush method is one analogy with the garbage collector was also given to you. So this was just a basic introduction, or you can say this was the overall summarization that we did yesterday. Now, among the some remaining topics, as you can already see that repeatedly we are doing one job. The job that we are doing is we are let the Hibernate create the table for us, or we are letting the ORM framework to create the table for us. And for this thing, we are having one property. The name of the property is called Hibernate HBM2 DLL dot auto is the property that we are having. For this thing, we are writing one value. The name of the value is called update. Whenever you are writing update, what is the behavior? Just try to understand. If we are writing the value update, then Hibernate checks for the table and columns. If a table doesn't exist, then it create new table, and whereas if a column doesn't exist, it create a new column for it. So update is responsible for creating table and column according to the entity class. This point clear? The first value I discussed to you is update. The first value I have discussed to you is with the update. entity annotation, id annotation that you need to write down into the entity class, but Hibernate HBM2 DLL.auto that you need to write down within the persistence.xml file. Then if I'm talking about the other values, among the other values, if I'm talking about the default value, then the default value is called validate. What is the mean of validate is the Hibernate only validate the table structure whether the table and column have exist or not. If the table doesn't exist, then Hibernate throws an exception. This is default value. So can we say that validate is saying table should be there, column should be there, it should be according to the entity class. But if it is not available, then I will not let your program run, because my job is to only validate. My job is not creation. Getting my point? So difference between validate and update is clear? Yes or no? Difference between validate and update. Number of participants 57 total. What happened, batch? Your strength is actually falling. Yesterday also I was having some 58 or 59 participant. Today also I am having 58 or 59 participant. Earlier we used to have counting up to 64, and some days it reaches to 66 also. All well. If anybody is having any specific reason, please write on the chat. I would love to listen. The first value is create. The Hibernate first drop the existing table data and structure. It create the new table and execute the operation on the newly created table. See, there is commonly a confusion between the create and create drop. Commonly, there is a confusion between the create and the create drop. And what exactly this confusion is, just try to understand. If I'm talking about the create drop, then see, the Hibernate first checks for a table and do the necessary operation, and finally drop the table after all the operations were completed. The value of create drop is given for unit testing the Hibernate code, or you can say that unit testing the ORM code. So listen, in case of create, what will happen? Let me take the two scenarios. What exactly the two scenario is? I'm talking about the first case. The first case that I'm talking to you is, let's say when the value of Hibernate HBM2 DLL.auto, it is having the value such that the value that we are writing is create. So what is going on? Let's say that your program starts running. Okay, your program starts running. So what exactly going to be there? Listen. Hibernate first drop the existing table, and definitely new tables will be created, and then definitely your operation will start execution. First it drop the existing table structure, then definitely create the new table, and after creating the new tables and execute the operation on a new operated basis. When program execution completed, so simple thing is that when program execution is completed, then actually it will keep the table as it is, so you can review the data after execution also. On the other hand, for the hibernate.hbm2.auto, if we are having the value such that the value is create drop, in case of create drop, what will happen? Program will start running. Definitely whatever existing tables are available, they will be dropped, or practically we can say that new table will be created. So you can see into the description, the Hibernate first check for the table and do the necessary operation, and finally drop the table after operations are completed. It first check for the table. So in case of create drop, let's say that your table already exists. In this case, no problem, it will continue with this. But once the execution is finished, then definitely all the tables will be dropped. So can I say in case of create, after execution, your table will survive. But in case of create drop, once the execution is completed, your table will not survive because it will be deleted by Hibernate or ORM framework automatically. So difference among both is clear, everyone. So we can say that whenever it comes to the testing, then definitely for the testing, create drop is the best value. This is the best value for create drop operation. So useful for create drop value. This is the one pointer that we are having. So this is the one difference. 4 values are available. Update is normally we are using. If database structure is already available to you, then go for the validate. If you wanted to create the new table structure that you wanted to keep it forever, then go for the create operation. If you wanted to perform the unit testing, then for the unit testing, please go for the create drop structure. States we have already discussed. Apart from this, the same thing, layers of the Java application. This is called service architecture also. This is called layer architecture also. The same thing is referred as the DAO pattern also. First layer is available, that is called presentation layer. About the presentation layer, we all know one thing. It is responsible for the UI related things. Service layer or the business logic layer, whatever processing you wanted to do related to the whatever processing you wanted to do related to the business logic, you have to write down here. And finally, DAO layer or data access object layer is also available, that is responsible for the operation. So just a basic elementary slide, nothing special. ID generation strategies, JPA configuration, this is something we have already covered. Now listen, so far, whatever example we have covered so far, if you wanted to perform the insert operation, then for the insert operation, we are having persist method. Remember yesterday if you have done assignment? Okay. If you wanted to perform update operation, then for the update operation, two possible approaches are there. The first possible approach is when your entity is already into the manage state, then just call the setter method and value will be updated automatically. Again repeating, if you wanted to perform the update operation, in case of the update operation, there are multiple ways available. See, for the save operation, or let's say that if I'm talking about the insert operation, for the insert operation, we are having one method. The name of the method is called persist method. Now, if you are talking about the next operation, such that the next operation is update operation. For the update operation, two choices are available. What exactly the two choices are there? The choices available is, first of all, if entity is in the managed state, then definitely if the entity is in the managed state, then definitely just call the setter method to update the value in entity, and definitely the same value will be updated in the table also, because definitely when they are in the managed state, then definitely they are in the synchronization. Is that point clear? Yes or no? Second point, let's say that if the entity is in the detached state, if the entity is in the detached state, then simple, there is one basic logic available. What exactly the basic logic is available? Then actually call the merge method, or you can say that if the entity is in the detached state, then definitely call the setter method to update the values, and then call the merge method to take the entity from simple, we can say that detached state to merged state. These are the both ways we have done. If you remember the example that we have done on the day number 1, that is on the Friday last week, then we were using the first approach. But on the other hand, if I'm talking about the second case, this approach we have used yesterday. Similarly, everyone, if I'm saying that we wanted to perform the delete operation, then for the delete operation, nothing is special. We just have to call the remove method, and ultimately this is going to be delete. Simple, we have to call the remove method for the entity, and this is going to be delete. But one thing that actually we were missing so much. If I'm talking about the read operation, or if I'm talking about the view operation, or specifically it will be good to say, if I'm talking about reading a single record only, then to read a single record, we are having find method. In the find method, we have to write down entity class name dot class. After writing entity class name dot class, then definitely we have to specify the value for the primary key also. How many objects it is returning? It is actually providing us only a single object. This thing we have already observed. Yes, it is. So now question arises that, sir, this is not the case, that we always want only a single object, and it may be possible that we wanted to perform the searching. Let's say that we are having the employee class available, and for the employee class we wanted to search, let's say, by name. We wanted to search by salary range. We wanted to search by designation. Using the find method, we always have to provide the primary key, and access of primary key may not be possible every time. Getting my point? That's good. So can I say using find method, we can fetch only one record? But what if we wanted to find out multiple records? What if we wanted to find out multiple records? What if we wanted to use single row functions, multi-row functions with the entities? Then this thing is not possible. Then this thing is not possible. So simple thing is that if I'm talking about the using find method, or let's say that if I'm talking about the above methods, then definitely above methods are good for simple. You can say that basic CRUD operations, but we have a lot to do in case of read operation specifically. Read operation specifically like like. First case, we want to see all records of a table. Second, we actually want to search according to a specific criteria, or maybe possible that we want to use single row functions also, and maybe possible we wanted to use single row as well as multi row functions also. This is something we wanted to use. So same jobs are not possible with the help of find method. And definitely if you wanted to perform such kind of methods, if you want to perform such kind of operations, then actually you have to use special type of SQL that is not practically SQL. This is something that is referred as JPQL. And JPQL actually refer to Java persistence. It actually refer to Java persistence query language. So can I say that JPQL is used to create the custom queries? Simple one. JPQL is used to process the custom query, or it is used to perform the custom query. This is the point number one that we are having. So let me talk about the JPQL into the detail. First of all, you can see that JPQL actually stands for Java Persistence Query Language. It is used to create query against entities to store in relational tables. Mind my word very carefully, yet I have already taken example multiple times. For example, everyone, let's say there is a table available. The name of the table is called employee table. Name of the table is called employee table. If I'm talking about its entity class, then definitely according to convention, the name of the entity class will also be employee. But for the class name, I have to write down E into the capital letter. Getting my point? If I'm writing employee completely into the small letter, then can I say this is a table name? But on the other hand, if I'm writing employee E into the capital letter, then can I say this is going to be an entity class name? Yes or no? Yes, it is. Now let me write down the two queries in front of you. One of the query that I'm writing in front of you is, for example, let's say I'm writing select star from, and then actually the point that I'm writing is employee. Next query I'm writing is select E from employee E. In the above query, or by looking at the above query, can I say that this is a plain SQL query, or can I say this is a pure SQL query? Yes, it is. Second query, line number 49. Here you can see specifically, I have mentioned entity class name. I have not mentioned the table name. Repeating again, this time specifically, I have mentioned entity class name. I have not mentioned actually a table name. Because see, if I'm talking about at the rate table annotation, then using at the rate table annotation, my entity class name and my actual table name, they can be completely unrelated. Yes or no? Yes, it is simple. I can do this. Yesterday we have done the same practice. Yesterday we have done the same practice. So my point is that, for example, let's say you are having some existing database. In the existing database, may be possible that you are having the table such that the name of the table is EMP. Such that the name of the table is EMP. So let's say if the name of the table is EMP and you have created an entity class name with employee, then using at the rate table annotation, Can we change the name? Yes, it is. Can we create the mapping? Yes, it is. So in this condition, if I'm writing select star from, let's say, EMP, if I'm writing select star from EMP, then it is a pure SQL statement. On the other hand, if I'm writing select E from employee, then don't you think it is not a SQL statement, but this statement is something you can call a JPQL statement. Yes or no? Got it, everyone? So always keep in mind, whenever we are talking about the SQL queries are always written with respect to a table, but JPQL statements are always written with respect to entity. Getting my point? This is the one point that you should remember. So what is the advantage? Now just try to understand the advantages. So first point, if I'm talking about the JPQL statement, so can I say that JPQL statements actually create the query against the entities? The JPQL is used to create the queries against the entities. What is the advantage of using the JPQL? For example, everyone, if I am talking about this statement, can I say this statement is specific to SQL? Yes, this statement is something that is specific to SQL. But if I'm talking about this statement, can I say this is a JPQL statement? This is not specific to any database. JPQL is not specific to any database. You are writing query on the entities, not on the table. So can I say whenever we are writing JPQL, then conversion of JPQL statement to the corresponding native SQL statement, this is done by ORM framework. Yes or no? Simple logic. If I am writing a JPQL statement using ORM, underlying database want native query, underlying database always want specific query. So conversion of the JPQL statement into the native query, it will be done by the ORM according to underlying database management system. Clear it is? That's good. So let's say, let me give you two situations. Situation number one, let's say that you are using only JDBC. Situation number one, let's say that you are using JDBC only. In the JDBC, you have to write down the query according to pure SQL. Okay, sir. Today, I am having a project. I am using JDBC. The database is right now MySQL. All the queries are written according to the pure SQL. No problem. Everything is running fine. Next year, I wanted to migrate my database from MySQL to Oracle. So don't you think that I have to make changes in all the pure SQL statements? And this is going to be a big problem. This is going to be a big problem. On the other hand, let's say that I have written the JPQL statement. If let's say that I have written the JPQL statement right now, I'm working on a project or I'm having a project. I'm using the ORM, specifically JPA. I'm writing all the JPQL statement according to JPA standard. It is the job of the ORM to convert the JPQL statement into the native query. Today I am using MySQL. Next year I wanted to migrate to Oracle database. Then don't you think being as a programmer, I am 100% free? I do not have to make changes even a single letter because all these things according to the database platform has to be maintained by ORM. Clear it is? So definitely writing JPQL is a better choice. Yes or no? Instead of writing the native SQL statement, definitely writing JPQL is a better choice. So see, JPQL is development based on the SQL syntax, but it won't affect the database directly. SQL work directly against the relational database table record and field, while JPQL works for the Java classes and instances. It works on the Java classes and instances. Okay, that's good. So for example, everybody here you can see that I'm having EID, ename, salary, comma, designation. This is one thing I'm having. Let's say that for this thing, I'm writing an entity class. The name of the entity class is going to be employee. The name of the entity class is going to be employee. Definitely, I have to use at the rate ID annotation. Yes, sir, I have to use at the rate ID annotation. Thereafter, I'm writing one thing that the column name I'm writing is at the rate ID. Thereafter, I'm writing at the rate generated type. And for the ungenerated type, if I'm talking about the strategy, STRATEGY. For the strategy, let's say I'm writing in the form of pseudocode, it is identity. So it is going to be auto increment. Thereafter, the point that I'm writing is it's going to be integer EID. Everything looks okay? Yes or no? it is EID, everything looks okay, no problem. But for example, let's say that I have written here EMP ID. If I have written here EMP ID, then definitely using the column annotation, using the name attribute, can I specify something like this? Yes or no? Yes, it is. Simple, I can do. Now again, I am writing two queries in front of you. One query that exactly I am writing in front of you is, for example, let's say I am writing select EID, comma, ename, comma, salary, comma, designation from employee. So this time can you see that I have to write down exact column name and I have to write down exact table name. But on the other hand, same query, if I wanted to write down in the form of JPQL, then what I need to write down? I have to mention select E.EMP.ID. Why EMP.ID? Because JPQL say that I used to deal with entity class. I used to deal with the variables that is defined in the entity class. Whatever be your actual column name in the table, I don't care. I will do this conversion later on. Is that okay? How to write down the query? Yes or no? So similarly, everybody, for example, let's say that second is available, you are writing only name. And this time you are saying that, sir, using the column name, I wanted to change the same value to ename. Thereafter, we are writing the next value. The next value that we are calling is called salary. Then we are calling the next value. The next value is again, we are calling designation. So from this example, things are clear to you that JPQL deal with the column and the table name, the column and the entity class name. But normal SQL is dealing with the directly column name. So don't you think that whenever we are using JPQL, then we are having more flexibility? Because in future, let's say that underlying table name is given change. You have to make very minor changes and you are done. You have to make very minor changes and you are done. So portability issue, or I'm talking about the other issues, then definitely they are sorted very easily using the same. This is the point that actually you have to take care. Now next point. Now next point. See, using the JPQL, I have to talk about some of the points. See, mainly JPQL you are going to use only for the select statement. Mainly. So what is the point here? What is the point here? See, whenever you are using JPQL statement, so always keep in mind that JPQL statements are used for select query, it is used for update query, and it is useful for delete query. But if I'm talking about the insert operation, then always keep in mind that insert operation cannot be performed using JPQL. Getting my point? Insert operation cannot be performed using JPQL. Here everyone, employee is referred with the name E. Simple, you can say it is a concept of aliasing kind of thing. Okay. Simple, you can say it is a kind of aliasing thing. Now, next part. So using the JPQL statement, definitely you can use select, you can use update, you can use delete query, but insert operation is practically not permittable. But there is a one, you can say that unorthodox way available to perform the insert query that we will discuss to you later. But if I'm talking about the structure of the select query, then you can see structure of the select query is first you need to write down the select, then whatever be the column names you wanted to fetch, if everything you wanted to fetch, then you have to write down E or whatever be your alias name is. Then from something where group by having order by. So can you see, sir, all the keywords are almost same. Select is there, from is there, where is there, group by is there, having is there, order by is there. Everything is same. I will say yes, almost everything is same. Similarly, if I'm talking about the delete query, then delete from entity name, where then again condition. For the update query, update entity name, set, column name equal to value, column name equal to value, and then the where condition. Getting my point, everybody? So writing the JPQL is not a tough statement. This is going to be very easy for you if you are well versed with the SQL. Then we are talking about the operations for where clause. The very first thing we are having is, can you see that for the equal operation, same symbol, book.id equal to 10, or simple, we can write down entity class name dot variable name equal to value. Not equal to, again same, the same operation we can use in the SQL also. And even you can write down the not equal to symbol also, no problem, it will also work. Then check for the greater than, equal to. This symbol is slightly mistyped. It should be greater than equal to. Less than symbol is there, less than equal to is there, between and is there, like query is there, is null is there, in is there. Everything is available there. And last line, as you can already see, that you can use not operator to negate the result also. Clear this point? You can use not operator to negate the result also. So shall we take an example? It will be good to take an example. That's good, everyone. So first of all, I have to create a table. Then definitely I have to write down the entity class, and definitely remaining job I will do also for you. And I will take a bunch of examples how to frame the query. In this example, we are going to talk about the simple SQL query, in which we will use simple aggregate functions. We will use simple single row function. Then we will talk about the group by also. We will talk about the having operation also. Apart from this, we will talk about the like query also. So multiple combinations are there for you. Okay. So coming to first, database. And on the database, I wanted to create a new database. So I'm writing create database, and name of the database I'm writing is JPQL example block 25 SB 101. JPQL example block number 25 SB 101, and I am hitting enter. Now just try to understand the point. I wanted to use the same database. So to use the same database, now I have done using the same database. After using the same database, I wanted to create a table employee. So see why I'm creating the table employee, because ultimately insert operation cannot be done with the GPQL. So if I create the table using Hibernate, then I have to write down the code for the insert query. That will cost us additionally 15 to 20 minutes. For the sake of time saving, it is good to create the table. It is good to put record sum in advance so that directly we can focus on the JPQL statement. Clear, everyone? So table is created. After creating the table, so we are having this one. Now, the table is created successfully. So this time, everybody, if I am asking you, see, table is already available here, record is already available here. If I'm asking you, what value should I write down for hibernate.hbm to dll.auto? What value shall I write down? I cannot write down update because update is used to create the table. Better to use the default value validate. Update is not an offense. I'm not saying that using update is an offense. No. But overall, can I say that validate is a better choice because my intention is not to create a table. Validate will just check whether the table structure is okay or not. Now, second question I am asking you, what is the default value for Hibernate HBM to DLL.auto? What is the default value for Hibernate.hbm to DLL.auto? It is validate. So can I say I can skip this property from the persistence.xml file? Yes, it is. Okay. So all the values we have already discussed to you. So now I'm going to take an example. Table is created here. Again, I have to create a Maven project. So going to the file, then definitely creating on the new, then talking about others. And I wanted to create a Maven project. So while creating the Maven project, let me give the name. And normally I used to keep the database name and the project name same because this mapping is always helping me to find out the things very, very easily. So clicking on next, definitely here I need to write down, I told you the short trick Mac, Maven dash archetype dash quick start. Maven dash archetype dash quick start. org.apache is something you have to select. Then click on the next. Definitely group ID is going to be com.masai school. Then artifact is available JPQL example 25. If you wanted to create the package, you can create. If you wanted to change the package name, you can. Right now, I am not talking about the DAO pattern. So definitely I am happy with this. Then clicking on the finish. Once I have clicked on the finish, It is creating some project, downloading some things. No interactivity is required here. So in the batch mode, the project is getting created. So because I have to deal with the dependencies also, so to deal with the dependencies, let me open the pom.xml file, and from the pom.xml file, the two dependencies, that is MySQL connector, and apart from the Hibernate core, these are the both dependencies that actually I have to take. So the two dependencies I have taken from here, then I'm going to the name of the project, that is jpql example 25, going to pom.xml file. First of all, definitely it will be good to change the source and target compiler version. After changing the source and target compiler version, I am adding all the dependencies here. After dependencies are added, then from the test cases, it will be good to remove these import statement. Otherwise, unnecessary, they will show the error messages, which is practically has no concern with us. After doing this part, definitely I can now update the project. To update the project, right click, Maven, update project, force update, and then we have to update the same project from here. The project is getting updated because all these libraries are available in my local repository. Did you remember? Local repository, central repository, remote repository. Whenever Maven is searching for some dependency, first of all, it is looking into the local repository. And because these are very common repositories, very common dependencies, they are available in my local repositories. That's why it is taking less than 1 second to update the project. So you can see that Hibernate core is available here. MySQL connector is available here. So all the dependencies we are already having, no problem. We are happy. We are happy. So for the employee table, okay, very first thing, we have to talk about the database connection. So we are available within the SRC. Within the SRC, we are having main, and within the main, then I'm going to create one folder such that the name of the folder is going to be resources. Remember everybody? Then within the resources folder, I have to create one more folder. The name of the folder is going to be meta-inf. The name of the folder is going to be meta-inf. And within the meta-inf, I have to provide persistence.xml file. So to take the persistence.xml file, better to take it directly from here. Copy this part, then going here into the meta-inf, pasting this file. I'm having persistence.xml. Into the persistence.xml. Now, persistence, XML namespace, XML namespace, XML schema, persistence. So this time, let me say that I am writing the name. The name that I'm writing is employee connect. Thereafter, definitely driver class is going to be always same. Jakarta.persistence.jdbc.url. For this thing, if I am talking about the part, then definitely I have taken the database name also. After taking the database name, username, password is going to be same. If you wanted to see the SQL query, then definitely hibernate.show_SQL is there. Hibernate.hbm2.ddl.auto. This is not required. Clear everybody? Persistence.xml. Comfortable with persistence.xml? Yes or no? Now, job for the persistence.xml is also done. After doing this job, now, first of all, I wanted to create an entity class. So I wanted to create a class. Let's say that name of the class I am writing is employee. Let's say that the name of the class that I am writing is employee C. Actually, what happened? There is two situations that I am going to tell you. Situation number one, you are going to perform a fresh development. If you are performing fresh development, then definitely in this case, you are creating the database table also, and you are creating the entity classes also. In case of MySQL, we all know that MySQL is case insensitive. Column names, table names, database name, we used to give into the small letters. But when it comes to the creating the entity class for the same, then entity class and table name, definitely they can be same, because if they are same, then in future mapping will be easy for any employee. Yes or no? Yes, it is. And definitely you, because you are a Java programmer. So being as a Java programmer, you know it very well. Whenever it comes to writing the class name, then class name has to be written within the title case. Yes or no? But if I'm talking about the table name is available within the lowercase. So you can differentiate very, very easily. You can differentiate very, very easily. But on the other hand, let's say that database is something that is already built by someone and you are actually importing your code from some legacy project to Hibernate. So there are chances that you may have, or your table name is not so friendly, you cannot convert them into according to Java coding convention. So in such conditions, you can use @table annotation to specify the mapping. In this condition, table name and entity name, they will be unrelated. They will be problematic also, but if there is no option, then we have to do this. Getting my point? How to perform selection? So I'm talking about the employee entity here. When I'm talking about the employee entity here, the very first thing that I have to specify is @entity. The very first thing that I have to specify is @entity. Then I'm coming to DESC employee. The first column is EID. So definitely it will be good to use @ID. Then I have to write down here private integer EID. And thereafter, the point that actually I have to mention here is, for example, I have to write down @generated value. Then I'm talking about the strategy. And definitely the strategy is going to be generation type dot identity. Clear, everybody? In place of generation type dot identity, you can use generation type dot auto also, because generation type dot auto for MySQL, it will automatically select generation type dot identity. So both are same. Both are same. They are going to work for you. So ID is available. Thereafter, everyone, no need to change the column name. Second thing, for example, I am writing this is going to be ename. Second thing that I'm writing is ename. Third thing that exactly I'm writing is this is going to be salary. And this time you can see that salary is of type integer. Salary is of type integer. So we are writing here private string name, private integer salary. Finally, we are talking about the next thing. So the next thing is called private string designation. And definitely for every entity class, no argument constructor is required. Remember? For every entity class, no argument constructor is required. Then everyone, parameterized constructor is also there. After the parameterized constructor, we are having a set of getter setter methods. After having a set of getter setter methods, optionally, if you wanted to override the toString method, then definitely you can override the toString method also. Yet overriding the toString method is not a compulsion. Overriding the toString method is not a compulsion. Getting my point? Any problem in this? So entity class is generated. Now it will be good to talk about some of the JPQL statements. So while talking about the JPQL statements, let me write down the JPQL statement related code into the file. The name of the file is app.java. I have created this entity class within the test folder. Let me move it here. Thanks to the STS, it is actually making the life easy for such nonsense mistakes. So entity class is right now available in proper package, no problem. It is not into the test package. Now I'm into the app.java. Again, everyone, if I'm talking about the entity factory manager, then can I say that entity factory manager is a heavy object? So it is required to be only one? Yes or no? Yes, it is. So let's say that I'm talking about static entity manager factory. We are calling it EMF. Thereafter, we are writing here static here. Into the static, the point that actually we are writing is going to be EMF equal to. Then definitely we have to write down persistence dot create entity factory entity manager factory. If I'm talking about the name of the persistence unit, then definitely the name of the persistence unit is going to be employee connect. The name of the persistence unit is going to be employee connect. The same unit, I have to just copy the name and paste it. Whether there is a spelling mistake, it will also work. Even if there is a spelling mistake, it will also work. Next part, next part, next part. So using this EMF, using this EMF, Can I get the entity manager? Yes, it is. And one more thing, everybody. One scholar is asking, sir, why EID is there if this is auto increment? We can remove this, no problem. Practically, I am not going to perform even a single DML operation now. Practically, I'm not going to perform even a single DML operation now. That's why. So, well, coming back here. So EMF is here. Then everyone, let me talk about some cases. For example, first case. Let's say that we wanted to print all the employees' name into the uppercase letter. Let's say I wanted to print all the employee names into the uppercase letter. So let me create one method. Name of the method I am writing is print employee name in uppercase. This is name of the method. You can write down any name. Nobody is going to stop you. Nobody is going to stop you. So first of all, everybody, the very first job is to get the entity manager. Yes or no? So can I say entity manager em equal to emf dot create entity manager, and good to import this line. Then next part is definitely to close the entity manager. Yes, it is. Then entity manager, using the entity manager. The next job that actually we are doing is, see, let me talk about the entity manager once again. Let me talk about the entity manager once again. So if I'm talking about the entity manager, let me come to the previous PPT. Let me come to the previous PPT. See, if I'm talking about the entity manager, then in the entity manager, can you see there is a method available such that the name of the method is called create query? Yes or no? In the create query, I have to specify the JPQL statement. Make sense? Here I have to specify the JPQL statement as a parameter, and the JPQL statement that I'm passing to the create query, it is going to give me object of the query interface. Is that also okay? It is going to give me object of the query interface. So first of all, everyone, I wanted to frame the JPQL statement. So if I'm talking about the JPQL statement, then definitely let's say I'm writing string query equal to, then we are writing select. The name of the function is definitely upper, and let's say I'm writing here the thing is going to be employee. So can I say that I wanted to get e.ename? Yes or no? JPQL statement clear, everyone? Select upper e.ename from employee e. Then next thing, definitely I have to call the create query method using the entity manager. So using the entity manager. So see, I am calling em dot. There is a method available. The name of the method is called create query. Into the create query, we have to pass the query. If I'm talking about the return type, then definitely return type of the same is a query object. Return type of the same is a query object. Always keep in mind, you have to use classes and interfaces of Jakarta.persistence. Even by mistake, do not import com.mysql.cj. Getting my point? This is one of the common mistakes that often happen. We used to do so fast, sometimes these mistakes happen. So if you are finding some error, please check for this also. So now query is available there. Okay. So, okay, there is a, let's say, let me write down. This is actually simple upper query, and the same upper query we are writing here. The same upper query we are writing here. So select upper of e name from employee e. Select upper of e name from employee e, then query object is available. Now, if I'm talking about the query, can you see this is an interface of JPQL of JPA? This is an interface of JPA. If I'm talking about the methods available, then can you see that first method is available called get result list? So automatically, don't you think that from the select query, if there are multiple records available, then get result list automatically convert them into the list of entity objects? Yes or no? Check the documentation. It execute a select query and return the query result as a untyped list. And definitely this untyped list is going to contain parameter type of entity for some cases. Yes or no? What happened, everyone? Not getting? Shall I repeat? Get entity list. It says that I am going to give you a list. But what are the elements of list? That we don't know. What is the mean of untyped? See, normally whenever we are creating a list, so at the time of creating list, within the angle bracket, we used to specify the type parameter. Yes or no? Like list angle bracket string, list angle bracket employee, list angle bracket exception. But here you can see that there is no specific type is there. So because there is no specific type, that's why it is called untyped list. Getting my point? Yes, it is. For example, let me give you two queries. One query is select upper e dot e name from employee e. So this time, can I say that, sir, list will contain the names only and names belong to the string type? Yes or no? Clear? Let me talk about the second case. If I'm writing select e from employee e, the select e from employee e is equivalent to select star from employee e. So this time, can I say again, I'm going to get a list such that this time all the objects are going to be of entity employee type. Yes or no? Repeat. Okay. One scholar is again asking for the repetition. So again, let me talk about the two queries. One of the query that I'm writing is select e.emp id e.name e.salary e.designation from employee. Just try to understand. Just try to understand. For example, let's say that I'm writing the query select e from employee. This query is equivalent to select star from employee. So this time, can I say that if I am calling the get result list method, let's say that if we are calling the get result list method, then definitely the return type of get result list method will be a list. But if I'm talking about the element of the list, then element of the list will be an employee entity object. Yes or no? But on the other hand, let's say that if I am writing the query is select upper e dot e name from employee e semicolon. This time, let's say again, if you are calling the get result list, then can you expect list of employee, or it will be good to expect list of string? Definitely it is good to expect a list of string. So this time, can I say that it is giving you untyped list? Slightly you have to take care what exactly the type of object is. Yes or no? Now clear why it is actually returning you untyped list? Because it says that we don't know what will be the exact type. So this is something that we leave on you. Compiler will not report any error, no problem. Compiler will not report any error, no problem. The problem is only when you are dealing with the covariance and contravariance. Otherwise, there is no problem. Otherwise, there is no problem. The only problem when you are dealing with covariance, contravariance. Remember, horrible topic, day number 1. So, well, then going to next part. Then going to next part. I think starting of the SB 101 was horrible for everyone. Is that true? In the first week, you are getting covariance, contravariance, then functional programming is there, then lambda expression is there, then method reference, stream API. So it looks like that we are on the wrong track. But then suddenly things actually neutralizes. Then there is SQL to console you. Then JDBC is to console you. Yeah. So SB 101 always actually start in style. So, well, everyone, one method is available. The name of the method is called getList method. One method is available that is called getList method. I will come back to this PPT shortly, but see, this is day 14 PPT. In the day 14 PPT, you can see that get result list is available here. Get result list is available here. So definitely I can use the same method to get the result from here. I'm coming to app.java. The query is there. Using the query, I am going to call the get result list method, and the get result list method is going to give me list of string type. Is that okay? It is going to give me list of string type. And once the list of string type is available to you, then simple using the for each loop, you can print all the names. Yes or no? Simple it is. And if you remember the first sprint, then did you remember there was a method available for each method? There is a consumer interface available. Into the consumer interface, if you remember, there is one thing available that is called system.out.println. So using the same, can we do the job? Yes or no? This is the one part that actually we are having. So first thing, everybody, select query is there, and let me come here. After writing here, then I'm calling here and saved. If you wanted to perform the sorting, definitely you can perform the sorting also. I will take the example also. You just need to write down order by e.name. No problem. It will work for you. It will work for you. Order by example, I will also take. Don't worry. So shall we try to run this code once? Yes, it is. So doing the right click, run as, running in the form of a Java application. Then you can see that Hibernate is showing everything in the red. And once it is showing everything in the red, but you can see one more thing. Can you see the query? Select upper e1 dot ename from employee e1 underscore 0. So practically you can say that behind the scene it is performing the aliasing. Just for the sake of checking purpose, you can copy the query from here, and after copying the query here, you can run the same query on MySQL also, because the query that is generated by ORM, the native query is actually getting printed on the console. Getting my point? The printed is not JPQL. The printed one is the local query. And you can use the same query for the debugging purpose also. So the first example of the JPQL is clear. Don't you find that this is very easy? Yes or no? Don't you find that this is very easy? And now actually you can do the customization also. You can do anything according to your choice. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Similarly, everybody, one scholar is asking if we are using Oracle DBMS, then it will write for Oracle. Yes, it will write for Oracle. Don't worry. Now let me come to the next case. The next case is that everyone, let's say, one scholar is writing, sir, please explain a bit about the red text in the Hibernate. See, this is a log information. The red colored information is log information. See, everyone, simple. If you are writing info, warn, info, then there is no problem. Info and warn is no problem. But if you are getting fatal, if you are getting error, then it's a problem. Second thing, if you will get any error message, then the error message normally you will find after the black text. The error message you will find after the black text, you will never find it here. And it will always give you a big log of exceptions. That is printed by print stack trace method. Okay, everyone. This is logging that actually Hibernate is generating. It shows everything for you. And this is actually very useful information when it comes to the debugging. So, oh well, coming here. Now let me take one more example. The one more example I am taking is, let's say I am writing here static void. This time it will be good to print the employee that is having maximum salary. This time it will be good to print the detail of the employee that is having maximum salary. So for example, everyone, let's say I am writing here select star from employee. When I'm writing here select star from employee, and let's say that I wanted to print the maximum salary. Let's say I wanted to print the maximum salary. So if I am going to print the maximum salary, then how many number of records will be there in the result? How many number of records will be there in the result? Only one, because max is used to give only one result. The max query is used to give you only one result. So we are writing here print highest, print maximum salary will be good to say. Print maximum salary. Again, everybody, you will say that, sir, some pointers are common. What exactly some pointers are common? First of all, getting the entity manager. After the getting the entity manager, let's say that I am talking about the query. The name of the query that we are writing is going to be max salary query. The name of the query that I'm writing is max salary query. So for the max salary query, what I need to write down? Select max of e dot salary from employee. You are creating the query also. Okay, max salary query is there. And if I'm talking about the query interface, in the query interface, can you see there is a method available that is called get single result? The return type of the method is object. And we know it very well that salary is of integer type. So we can perform the downcasting also. Yes or no? It's a very common practice to have a single record. Let's say that you are searching for a record by the primary key. No need to call the get result list. Unnecessary you will call. There is a direct method available to you. The direct method is called get single result. Simple question I am asking you. Did you find this facility in JDBC result set? Definitely no. So don't you think it is also making your life slightly easy? Yes, it is. So this time the method that actually we have to call, the name of the next method is going to be get single result method. And into the single result method, because this is going to give me an object and I wanted to convert the same thing into the integer. So we are writing here integer salary equal to integer query dot get single result. Thereafter, everyone, I wanted to print the maximum salary. So definitely I need to write down system.out.println. And here the point is that the maximum salary is plus this one. This is the next thing that is available for you. So print maximum salary is also printed here. Doing the right click, run as Java application. Queries are there. Forget about the red color. Just focus on the black color. You can see that maximum salary is 40,000. Maximum salary is 40,000. You can cross check. Answer is correct. Yes or no? So JPQL give you a feeling of native SQL slightly. Yes or no? The JPQL gives you a feeling of slightly native SQL. And definitely that's why we used to say that learn SQL very, very properly, because same thing you will find in SB 201 also, when actually Ratan sir or might be Shubhendu. There is another instructor, Ratan sir and Shubhendu sir is there. They will talk to you about Spring ORM and they will talk to you about the Spring Data JPA also. So there you will find all that. Then going to the next part, going to the next part. So see, two queries we have done. So far there is no where clause available. Everything we are doing is a plain query. But let's say that you wanted to find out all the employees that actually reside in a salary range. Let's say that we wanted to find out all the employees whose salary range, whose salary is from 30,000 to 40,000, this kind of stuff we wanted to do. So can we write down the where clause also? Answer is yes, we can write down the where clause also. So let me do one thing. For example, again, I'm writing static void and I'm writing that print employees for salary range. If you wanted to take input, you can input also, no problem. But I will take all the examples. I will take example of taking input also. Don't worry. In this case, everyone, I wanted to print the data for a certain salary range. So you will say, sir, copy and paste. After doing the copy paste, I wanted to find out the query C. If you wanted to change the local variable, you can see that same local variable I'm using in line number 42 also. Same local variable I'm using in line number 44 also. If you wanted to change at both the places together, you can do. STS is providing you facility. How to do this job? Just click here, then press Alt Shift R. Alt plus Shift plus R. Now please see the difference. Can you see that whatever changes I am doing in the line number 42, the same changes are automatically applicable in the line number 44 also? Yes or no? After making the changes, hit enter, you are done. So this is a smart way to perform the changes in the name of the local variable. This facility is called refactoring. So the query that I'm writing is select E from employee where E dot salary between 30,000 and 40,000. Is that clear? This time I'm going to have multiple records. Because this time I'm going to have the multiple records, so definitely it will be good to call the get result list method. And this time if I'm talking about the get result list method, then definitely if I'm talking about the specific type, then definitely specific type is going to be employee. Yes or no? And when a specific type employee is available, then definitely the toString method will do the justice. Is that okay? Printing operation will be performed by the toString method. So this is what one more calling we have done. For the sake of better visibility of the output, it will be good to write down system.out.println after each and every statement. So let us try to run this. So query is there. Now I think it is better visible to you. Now I think it is better visible to you. So let me copy the query. I wanted to verify. Well, entire table is available here. Entire table is available here. So let me change the value to 35,000 to 40,000. Right click, run as Java application. So right now, everyone, the same query is available here. Copy, then coming here, right click, semicolon, paste. And you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4 records are available. The same 1, 2, 3, 4 records are available here also. Clear, everyone? The between example also. Yes, it is. Okay. So before proceeding further, I'm going to take a break. See you again back at 43 past 12. Okay. Today, I think you are not feeling so much depressed, so much overburdened kind of things. Today topic is very, very simple. One scholar is writing, why you are taking breaks so early? No reply. Two examples we have taken so far. Three examples. Now I'm going to tell you how to take input. Very, very simple example. Then we will talk about one example of group by having also. And then we will talk about directly about named queries. Yes. Okay. No problem. See everyone. Let's say that you are saying that, sir, we wanted to specify the parameters. Now we wanted to specify the parameters. So see, can you see there is a method available? The name of the method is called set parameter. In the set parameter, the first thing you have to specify is the parameter name, and second thing you have to specify is the value. The first thing you have to specify is the parameter name, and second thing you have to specify is the parameter value. But now, if you remember the prepared statement, then in case of the prepared statement, instead of the parameter name, we were using parameter index such that index was starting from 1 and parameters were represented using the symbol question mark. It was the case when we were talking about JDBC prepared statement. In case of JPQL, no need to do that much amount of hard work. No need to do that much amount of hard work. Why there is no need to do that much amount of hard work? See here. For example, everyone, we are having two parameter. One parameter I am having is start salary. Another parameter is available that I am calling that is end salary. These are the two parameters that are here. Let's say that I am passing the value 35,000 here. Next value I am writing that is 40,000 from here. Both parameters are passed. Now I wanted to fit both the values here. I wanted to fit both the values here. Do not use plus operator. Do not use variable concatenation. No, there is a better approach available, and this better approach will work in all the cases. See, first of all, here, let's say that I'm writing start. So don't you think that start should be a variable such that whose value will be taken from start salary? Similarly, if I'm talking about end, it is again a variable whose value is to be taken from end salary. Yes, it is. Instead of start and let's say that we can write down the name cell1 and here we can write down the cell2. Cell1 is the salary one and cell2 is the salary 2. Variable name can be any. To make them variable, or let's say that you are writing here, you can say that this is para number 1 or this is parameter number 1, and then we are writing that this is going to be the parameter number 2. So when I'm writing parameter number 1 and the parameter number 2, then in this condition, right now they are not variable. To make them variable, before them, you have to proceed a colon symbol. You have to proceed before them a column symbol. Is that clear, everyone? How to specify variable in JPQL? Colon, then variable name. Colon, then variable name. Now the thing is that, sir, okay, variable name is there, query is there, create query statement is also done. But the second thing is that how to specify the parameters. If you wanted to specify the parameter, then using the query object, can you see there is a method available? The name of the method is called set parameter. Into the set parameter, there is version available. You can specify the name and you can specify the value also. So if I'm talking about the first variable, the name of the first variable is para1. For the first variable para1, value will come from the start salary. Similarly, everybody, if I'm talking about the second parameter is going to be para2 and its value is going to be and salary. Parameter is a name, so definitely it will be good to put them into the double quotation mark. Getting my point? How this is working? That's good. Let me try to run this code. Doing the right click, run as Java application. So please check if the query is working or not, such that you might remember something that is called prepared statement. Right, it is. That's good. So overall, everybody, it shows question mark and question mark. It shows question mark and question mark. Still, if you wanted to print the query, then definitely you can print the query also. Let me try to do this job. 1 second. I'm also doing this experiment. Query dot is there any method available? There is no direct method available. So let me try to directly print the query once. Let me try to print directly the query once. It is just an experiment running as a Java application. And when I'm running the same thing as a Java application, no, it is actually not giving me query. But normally it will work for you, don't worry. It will work for you, don't worry. Yeah, when parameter names are there, then definitely no need to take care for the sequence. When parameter names are there, then no need to take care for the sequence. So how to specify the parameter? This is also okay. Yes or no? Okay. Now let me talk about the next case. The next case is that, let's say, we are having a demand. The demand is that we have to print counting of employees designation wise. Again repeating, we have to print counting of employee designation wise. So let's say that if you wanted to print counting of employee designation wise, then don't you think that's this time group by clause is useful? Yes, it is. And if I'm talking about ultimately return value, then don't you think this in the return value we will have name of the designation? Apart from the name of designation, we will have counting also. Yes or no? That is an integer value. One thing we will have is total number of we will have is designation, and second thing we are going to have is counting. Now next part. Now next part. Just a minute. One scholar is asking one very funny question. Let me answer. Done. Done. Listen. Okay. Now let me talk about the next query. The next query, let's say I am telling you that we wanted to find out counting of employees on the behalf of or for the distinct combination of their designation and salary. Because I can apply group by on multiple columns. Yes. If I can apply group by on the multiple columns, then don't you think that this time the result is going to have three different values? The first value will be for designation, second value will be for salary, third value will be for counting. So map is not a useful data structure if you were thinking about the same. Getting my point? Map is not a suitable data structure in this condition. So how to rectify this problem? Let me come here. So I am writing static void, and see we are writing print designation wise. Counting is the name of method that we are writing. First of all, definitely we have to create the object of entity manager. After creating the object of the entity manager, definitely em.close will be as it is. Then I'm talking about the JPQL statement and for the query. So for the JPQL statement and the query, see here. So JPQL statement I'm writing, let's say again I'm making changes. So here I'm writing that is group by query. For the group by query, I have to write down select. Two things I wanted to have. The one thing that I wanted to find out is designation. Second thing that I wanted to find out is counting. So select e.designation, comma count from employee E. And definitely we have to perform the group by such that group by has to be performed on the behalf of e.designation. designation. After performing E dot designation, then let's say that I wanted to find out only those designations for which number of employees are more than 2. Repeating my query, I wanted to display only those designations and counting for which we have minimum 2 employees. So this time we have to apply filtering at the group level, and because we wanted to apply the filtering at the group level, so in this condition we have to use having clause. Remember everyone? So we have to write down having this thing more than or equal to 2. This is the one point that is available. Second, let's say that you wanted to display into the descending order of counting. So if you wanted to display into the descending order of counting, then to display into the descending order of counting, you have to write down order by count of E into the descending order. Clear everyone how this is working? Yes, it is. That's good. So group by query is available here. Now you are going to execute the group by query. But the thing is that, sir, it is guaranteed that multiple results will be there. It is guaranteed that multiple results will be there. I'm going to get a list of result. But if I'm talking about the specific type, then type information is not available. Getting my point? The type information is not available. What to write down here? This is something unknown for us. Clear everyone? What is the problem? Okay. Solution is available, and definitely you will agree with the solution if I write this thing. I'm saying in this condition, I'm going to find a list of array of objects. See, there is simple logic. Simple logic. Object class is parent class of all the classes. Everybody knows. According to this principle, a reference variable of object can point to object of any type. This is also clear to you. So no matter whether this query is giving me 2 column, 3 column, 4 column, 5 column, 10 columns, the array of object will be able to point to all the values. Yes or no? Everyone update your response. Simple logic. Object class is parent class of all classes, so a reference variable of object can point to any object. According to this, if I am creating the array of object here, so no matter whether I am fetching 2 columns, 3 columns, 5 columns, 10 columns, automatically an array will be created, and that array will be assigned to array of object type. And finally, we are getting the list of object array. Getting it here, everyone? How this is going to be proceed? Yes, it is. So once you are getting this thing, then definitely you can apply the for each also. You can apply the for each also. So this time, everyone, can I write down a consumer function? Yes, I can write down a consumer function. Can I say this time the consumer function is going to work on the array of objects? Yes, it is. So for example, let's say I'm writing con, and here if I'm talking about the obj, then obj is nothing but an array of object. And because it is an array of objects, so let's say that if I am writing here obj square bracket 0 dot, then definitely I can perform the downcasting also, and after performing the downcasting I can do the job. Yes or no? Or even if I wanted to print it directly, then definitely I can print the same directly also. Make sense, everybody? Clear? Then everyone, I am going here. Let's say that if I'm writing list dot for each, and into the list dot for each we can find out this con, or we can print this con. So system dot out dot println, then definitely we are writing here print designation wise counting is what I am writing. Let me try to run this. Right click, run as Java application, and let us see the result. So everything okay? For technical writer we are having 3. For the proofreader we are having 2. Working perfect? Yes or no? In the descending order of counting. So if you are confused what exactly it is going to return, then this is called some kind of, you can say, Sanjeevani booty. This is kind of penicillin that is work in all the cases. Clear everyone? Brahma Astra, Universal Hake, whatever you wanted to say, you can refer to this. It's your choice. It's your choice. So examples we have covered regarding the JPQL statements. Apart from this, few more ways are also available. Few more ways are also available for you that I'm going to tell you. See, so for everybody, all the JPQL statements, we are writing within the method only. All the JPQL statement, we are writing within the method only. And definitely they are working as local. But practically, if I'm talking about the reality, then definitely you may need to use the same SQL statement at multiple places. Chances are there, yes or no? It is common to use the queries multiple times. Make sense? So if you wanted to use the same query for the multiple times, then don't you think it is better to describe them in the form of kind of global variable? Kind of, not exactly global variable. Or if you can define them at a single place and you can use them for the multiple time, then it will be a good decision. Yes or no? Yes, it is. So simple logic. If I'm talking about the JPQL statement, then can I say that JPQL statement is a simple string value for Java? Yes or no? Yes, it is. And if I'm talking about it is a simple string statement, then definitely we can use variable name and value combination also. Makes sense? We can use variable name and value combination also, no problem. And if we can use the variable name and value combination, now the good thing is that, sir, where to write down this combination? Because practically in Java programming, there is no global variable available. So I will say, see, just I am going to the employee entity class. In the employee entity class, I am going to use one annotation. The name of the annotation is called named query annotation. Within the named query annotation, you can see that one field is available name, and next is also available that you can call name. Oh, sorry. One more thing is available that is called query. So using the named query, don't you think that we are establishing a variable and value relationship? Yes or no? Using this annotation, we are specifying the JPQL statement for the entire class that can be used at multiple different places. Is that okay, everyone? How to do this job? So, let me give the name. The name I'm giving is find employee by name. Let's say that I wanted to use the like query. So here I'm writing that the thing is going to be select E from employee E where E dot name like. After like, if you wanted to take input, then again, it will be good to specify a variable name. Make sense, everybody? Everyone, update your response. Named query, name, find employee by name, select E from employee, where E dot name like colon name. So one thing I have clearly specified here. So second thing is that, okay, sir, query is specified here. Now we wanted to use the same query, and definitely to use the same query, I have to do one job. So let's say static, I'm writing print employee by name. Because I wanted to print employee by name, so very first thing is going to be, we wanted to get an entity manager. Yes. After getting the entity manager, it will be good to talk about the em.close. Yes. It will be good to talk about em.close. Yes. Thereafter, everyone, this time, do I need to create JPQL or it is already created? Do I need to create the JPQL statement? Option number one, or statement number two, that's our JPQL statement is already created using the @named query. Yes, it is. So because this is something that is already created using the named query, now the thing is that, sir, can I write down query dot create query, and into the create query, if I am passing this variable name, is it working? Is that working? No. What exactly message it is showing? It is showing it cannot be resolved as a variable. Because actually when you are using the create query method, so create query method is expecting that it should be a local variable, which is not the case. Getting my point? Which is not the case. Second number case, let's say that if I am writing this value within the double quotation mark, then actually your system will anticipate that this is itself a JPQL query. If I'm writing same thing within the double quotation mark, then definitely your JPQL will anticipate that it's a SQL query it's in itself, which is again wrong. Yes or no? Both situation clear? You cannot write down the variable name directly also. You cannot write down the variable name within the double quotation also if you are using the create query method. But everyone, for such kind of named query, the query interface, sorry, for this kind of query, the entity manager classes or the entity manager interface is already providing us one more method. The name of the method is called create named query method. Can you see this method, everyone? Yes or no? So if you have specified the query using at the rate named query, then to use this query, do not use create query. You have to use create named query. Getting my point? Yes. And can you see that there is a string SQL available? So this time, everything is okay in the code. Just actually one change you need to do. The only change that you need to do is that everybody here into the create query, we have to write down create named query. Clear this point? When to use create query and when to use create named query. Getting everybody? When to use create query and when to use create named query. Yes, this is something that you should always keep into mind because scholars are getting confused here. They are repeatedly making mistakes and unnecessarily losing their marks. Common mistake it is. So do not do this. So now query is available to you. And once query is available to you, then you have to specify the parameter also. And definitely to specify the parameter, we have to use set parameter. Make sense, everyone? Yes, it is. And let's say that name you are taking input here also. Let's say that you are taking input here also. If I'm talking about the name of the variable, then can I say that name of the variable is name itself? Yes, it is. So the first parameter that I have to write down is within quote. This is going to be name. Make sense, everybody? This is going to be name. And thereafter, everybody, I need to write down the value of name. So because I need to write down the value of name, so this time I have to do slightly some this stuff. Because for the like query, we have to write down the things within the quotation mark. Make sense? For the like query, we have to write down within the percent symbol. Percent is for any number of characters. Remember this thing? Okay. Finally, if I'm talking about my query, then query is going to provide me list of employees, and definitely I can print the value directly. Is that okay? So finally, everybody, let us try to do this. Let us try to do this. So, okay. Now, I have to call this method. And for the sake of simplicity, let me once come here and I wanted to find out all the employees whose name has letter, let's say N, whose name has letter, let's say N, and remaining queries I am commenting for a while. Remaining queries I am commenting for a while. Right click, run as Java application. It shows some Java exception has occurred. So now everybody, are you able to find the error in the red color very easily? Are you able to find out the error in the red color very easily? Extremely easy. Yes, it is. If it is disorganized, then definitely it is an error. So it says error in named query, find employee by name. Error in query, find employee by name. Error interpreting, select E from employee where E dot name like column name. This may indicate a semantic problem or a bug into the parser. It says that select E from employee E where E dot E name should be there, not name. The name of the column should be E dot E name. This may be the one reason of error. Hmm. So this time everybody, we were looking for all the employees whose name is containing letter N. Is it working? Please check. Working this time? Yes, it is. So this is how exactly you can specify the named query. Right now, actually, we have specified only one named query. Can we specify more? Yes, we can specify more also. And definitely to specify the more, again, what we have to do, we have to copy the syntax. After copy the syntax, let's say I'm doing pasting. After doing pasting, let's say this time I'm saying that find employee by designations. And I'm writing select E from employee where E dot designation in. And this time within the in clause, I am passing some string. Make sense, everybody? Yes or no? Clear? So now the question arises that, sir, within the inquiry, there should be list of comma separated values. Yes or no? There should be list of comma separated values. Okay. Once let me come to app.java. Let me rerun the same program again. And when I am running the same program again, query is working 100% okay. Query is working 100% okay. So I'm talking about the find employee by designations. If I'm talking about the find employee by designations, then I'm going to tell you one more thing. So once, see, copying this code. After copying this code, then coming here. And after coming here, then I'm writing one thing, that is print employee by designation. When I'm talking about the print employee by designation, so coming here, pasting here, the named query is created perfectly. The named query is created perfectly. This time, everyone, if I'm talking about the parameters, so one thing that I'm telling you, for example, let's say that I'm talking about list of string, and into the list of string, I'm talking about DESIG and ATION designations equal to arrays dot as list. Into the as list, let me talk about the designation. So one of the designation that I'm having is technical manager. One more designation that I'm having is proof reader. Okay. So can you see that this designation I have to specify there, but if I'm talking about the variable designation, it is expecting comma separated list of designation. And right now we are having a list of designations. Problem clear, everyone? The SQL is demanding that there should be comma separated list of designations within the in clause. But if I'm talking about the data available here, in the data, I am having list of designations there. So the good news for you is no need to worry. The good news for you is no need to worry. You can specify this thing directly. Your list will automatically be converted into comma separated sequence. Getting my point? It will be automatically converted into comma separated sequence for you. This is the main point that actually you have to take care, everyone. Shall I try to run this code also? No, this time I do not have to take any parameter. And remaining two statements, I'm commenting again, then semicolon, right click, run as Java application. Let me try if it is working. So we are having employee from technical manager. We are having employee from the proofreader also. Query working perfect. Everyone, query working perfect. So this part is also done. And if I'm talking about the two queries, then definitely these two queries you can arrange very, very properly. There is one more annotation available. The name of the annotation is called actually named queries annotation. Can you see the annotation? Named queries annotation. Named query annotation is nothing. It just says the one thing that you can put all the named queries together somewhat like this. Clear, everyone? This is a better way to organize. It was working also, but this is a nice way, and you should always follow this. You should always follow this. Just for the sake of checking whether everything is working fine or not, let me run both the methods in the form of a Java application. Both queries working perfect. We are having all the employees, those who are from letter N, and we are having all the employees whose designation is either technical manager or the proof reader. So this is the one point that actually we have done. Okay. Clear everybody how to write down the multiple named queries? Yes or no? What happened, batch? This is not rocket science. Now at least I can expect that today's session is the one of the easiest one for you. Now, next part. See, again one more case that actually I wanted to cover for you. The case that exactly I wanted to cover for you is, you all are using MySQL version 8? Yes or no? Yes, it is. Okay. So assume you are developing a project using the MySQL version 8. Okay, sir. No problem. Your project is completely developed. No problem. And definitely a project always remain in the maintenance stage throughout its life. New features are always added according to the requirement. In the year 2025, let's say MySQL 9 is there, and MySQL 9 is available with some exceptional new API. It is actually coming with exceptional new API. If it is available with the exceptional new API, then can you expect that your ORM will be updated immediately? Because ORM is developed by some different community, MySQL is actually developed by a different community. So very high chances are there that your ORM may take so longer to update. And if this is the case, then you may not be able to leverage you may not be able to take advantage of the latest feature. Isn't it look like a drawback of ORM? Yes, it is. Let me talk about the second case also. The second case is that definitely not all the databases are having same features. Make sense? Common sense it is. Every database might have some additional feature. Every database might have some XYZ feature. So being as an ORM developer, do you think that it is possible to inculcate feature of every database in a single ORM framework? Is it practically possible to cover all the features of all the databases in a single ORM framework, such that database vendor says that we do not have any concern with the ORM, we will keep releasing new features, no matter whether they are according to the standard or not, or client is demanding, we will release. So being as an ORM user, definitely you will find yourself stuck that I wanted to use the advanced feature, but my ORM is not supporting the same. Is there any way available? Answer is yes. The way is available. Actually, ORM allow you to write down the native query also. Getting my point? The ORM allow you to write down the native query also. But because native query is something you are writing for a specific database, so in future, if you are going to port, then all the local queries are your responsibility. You have to manage them. Getting my point? So native query is a advantage also, as well as it is disadvantage also. It is a double-sided blade, or it is a double-sided sword. So we can say use native queries wisely. Getting my point? You have to use the native queries wisely, because sometimes it is inevitable. We have to use. So whenever you are actually writing the native query, maintain the proper documentation. In future, if you wanted to migrate your code from one application to another application, then definitely it will be very much helpful for you. Getting my point, everyone? When to use a local query, when not to use the local query. That's good. So similar to that, there is, if you wanted to write down the local query, then see, you can write down the local query also. If you wanted to write down the local query directly within the method, then can you see there is a method available. The name of the method is called create native query method. Yes, it is. You have to specify the native query here, and what will be the data type of the native query you have to mention here also. Is that okay? This is the first point. This is the first point. Second thing, okay, sir, this will create a local, this will create a native query locally? Can we create the native query global as we have done for the named query also? Answer is yes. Answer is yes. So like you are having one annotation, the name of the annotation is called named queries annotation. Similarly, there is one more annotation available. The name of the annotation is called named native query annotation. Similarly, there is one more annotation. The name of the annotation is called name native query annotation. In the named native query annotation, one thing we are having is name. Second thing we are having is definitely query. Third thing is what type of result it is going to provide. You can provide the same data also. What type of result it is going to provide, you can provide the same data also. So can I say that in my case, it is good to write down the employee.class? Yes or no? Let's say that if I'm writing here, select star from employee. Can I say this is a native query? Can I say this is a native SQL query? No entity name is here. Employee is written into the small letter. So if I'm not writing with respect to entity class, then definitely it is a native query, no matter how portable it is. Clear, everyone? Yes, it is. Then we are writing here, find all employees. Let's say that the name of the query we are writing is find all employees. And this time, everybody, can I say that this native query is a kind of named query also? Can I say this native query is a kind of named query also? So like you have earlier used the named queries here, in the same way, you can use the native query also. So for example, let's say I'm writing that print all employees, print all employees. So when I'm writing print all employees, entity manager em equal to emf dot create entity manager, then again you need to call the create named query. While calling the create named query, you have to pass here find all employees. After passing the find all employees, there is no parameter available. If you wanted to pass, then definitely you can pass the parameter also. It is going to give you list of employees, and definitely then you are printing all the data. You are done. You are done. So again, I'm writing here system.out.println. After writing the system.out.println, then actually let me make the other things comment for better output. Right click, run as Java application. Can you see that the query is provided to you as it is? The query is provided to you as it is, and the entire result is also available to you. So local query is something not recommended, but if it is inevitable, then you have to use that. And definitely this feature personally I feel is good. Why personally it is good? Because let's say that you are using some database, version is getting updated, some exceptional facility is available for you that is making life very easy for you, then definitely talking about the ORM standard is just a nonsense. Yes or no? What do you think? Earlier, you were writing 100 lines of code to do a job. In the new feature, might be possible that you may do the same job within 2 or 3 lines. If you can do the same job within 2 or 3 lines, then definitely it's a good thing. Why to talk about standards? Because production is the ultimate objective of every standard. Shall I proceed further? Hmm. So this is what your JPQL is done. This is what your JPQL is done. Create query method we have used. Create native query method we are not using. Instead of this, we are using the create named query also. You can use, no problem. Transaction is also done. Contains is just to check within the persistent context whether object exists or not. Thereafter, remove method, detach method, flush method, merge method, find method, persist method. Everything is done for us. Similarly, if I'm talking about this PPT, then named query. So you can see that same thing is available. Just a minute. See, a named query annotation is used to define a query with a predefined unchangeable query string. It is also allowed to pass the query. Uses of named query may improve code organization by separating GPQL query from the Java code. Second thing is available, not. SQL support a lot of advanced feature that you can't use with JPQL. If you need one or more of them for a specific use case, then you have to use native SQL query. Already covered. Already covered. So this is what actually JPQL we have already covered. If you are having any ask into the JPQL, welcome it is. Otherwise, I will go for the next topic. Any doubt? Any pareshani? Any samasya? Seems no. Seems no. So before starting the next topic, do you need a 2-minute break or shall I proceed directly? Option number 1, you need 2-minute break. Option number 2, sir, proceed. Write your opinion, please. Now I think everybody need. That's good. Now I think everybody need it. That's good. It was expected. Before starting of the next topic, you always need a break. Okay, everyone. On the huge demand of public, it is of 5 minutes. So, shall I go for the next topic? I think yes. That's good. So, listen. I'm giving you one simple situation. What exactly this simple situation is? For example, everyone, let's say that there is a entity available. Let's say that the name of the entity, let's say I am calling is customer. And today, you know it very well, every company is chasing to track the customer. They wanted to find out more information about customer. They wanted to know more about the customer. Example, you know that banks are looking too much into the customer profile because they wanted to sell them various kind of products. Similarly, if I'm talking about the insurance sector is also actually doing a too much research on their clients to find out what is suitable for them and how to maximize the revenue. So let's say one thing is available. We are e-commerce also doing the same. Yes, even one day you are searching for any mobile phone, Amazon and Flipkart start chasing you for the next 1 month until you are either buy them or they are thinking that no, this person is not going to buy under any circumstances. This is the only thing that you can do. Otherwise, you have to remove the cookies. This is what you can do. So let me come back. So for example, there is a class available. The name of the class is called customer. Into the customer, for example, one field is available integer ID. Next field is available, let's say name. And third thing we are also maintaining. This is something that we are calling as annual income. And definitely every customer is having some address also. Yes, it is. So can I say that address is information that is applicable for the customer also, it is applicable for employee also, it is applicable for a student also, it is applicable for almost every living entity. So if we are having customer, we have to maintain information about student, we have to maintain information about employee in our project, then it's purely nonsense to write down address separately in every class. It is better to create a address class and use the address class within the customer class also, employee class also, as well as into the student class also, using the has a relationship. Make sense? Yes, definitely. So the thing is that let's say we are talking about the class address. If I'm talking about the class address, then for the sake of simplicity, let's say that I'm talking about one thing that is called city. Second thing that we are calling is going to be state. Third thing that we are calling is, let's say it's going to be zip code. Zip code is a 6-digit integer number. So definitely we can store into the integer type. So normally what is the best practice? The best practice is that we are writing address here. So this is what an example of has a relationship is. Getting my point, everybody? Yes or no? That's good. So Java actually supports has a relationship. Java actually supports has a relationship. Now just one thing that I am telling you. The thing that I'm telling you is, let's say this time I am not talking to you about the plain old Java object. Let's say I am talking to you about entity. Let's say this time I am talking to you about entity. So what do you think? Your Java actually supports as a relationship, But what about database? What about the generated table structure? So don't you think database does not have concept of has a relationship, but Java has a concept of has a relationship? Yes or no? Practically, Java is working on the object-oriented model. In the object-oriented model, we are having concept of has a relationship. One object can contain another object. But on the other hand, if I'm talking about the database, in a database, can a table contain another table? Definitely no. Definitely no. So don't you think there is a mismatch between the object-oriented model and the relational model? Yes or no? There is a clear mismatch between the relational model as well as between the object-oriented model. The object-oriented model or any programming model is referred as domain model. So if I'm saying domain model or if I'm saying object-oriented model, both terms are same. So see, has a relationship is something that is supported by domain model, but has a relationship is not supported by relational model. In Java programming, in domain model, one object can contain another object, but in relational model, one table cannot contain another table. This kind of mismatch is referred as granularity mismatch. This type of mismatch is actually referred as granularity mismatch. Getting my point? What is the meaning of granularity mismatch is? Everyone, what is the meaning of this? Is that clear? Similarly, if I'm talking about the inheritance, similarly, if I'm talking about the inheritance, then don't you think that same problem will be there? Because in case of object oriented or in case of object model, we are having concept of superclass and subclass. But in the database, do we have any concept of supertable and subtable? Definitely no. So actually the thing is that everybody, whenever we are talking about relationship between the two models, then definitely at some point we come across several mismatch. And today in this lecture, as well as tomorrow, we are going to discuss how to handle this mismatch. Getting my point? Objective is clear? Yes, it is. So I hope this is something that is sensible, and I think it should generate some excitement into your mind also. Yes or no? You must know that how to handle the situation. It's a very common situation in programming. So you can see that at the object level, we have has a relationship, but at the table level, there is no has a relationship. This mismatch is actually referred as the granularity mismatch. To address this, the JPA specification actually provides us two approach, and in the two approach, I will talk to you about the three examples. Why there are three examples available? Let me take the case. If I'm talking about the first case that is available here, in the first case, can you see that one customer has only one address? I am talking about case number one to you. The case number one that I am discussing to you is when customer has one address only. This is the first case. If I'm talking about the case number two, into the case number two, when one customer has, let's say that two different addresses, or it will be good to say when a customer has more than one addresses. For example, let's say that the bank is having some employee. So for the employees, bank is used to maintain the permanent address also. Bank is used to maintain the communication address also. And definitely whatever be address of his branches, it is also maintained. Yes or no? Yes, it is. Then there is one more case available. There is one more case available. Here actually case number two, when customer has more than one but finite. Or you can say yes, but finite will be good to say. Finite means fixed number. Finite means but fixed number. But we are saying that when it is having more than one, but I'm saying but not finite. It is not infinite. It will be good to say but not finite. For example, let me take a very common case. So do you know about Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi? Have you listened the name of such respectable entities? Lalit Modi, Nirav Modi, etc. stars. Yeah, they are the true entrepreneurs. They are the true entrepreneurs. Remaining are just doing time pass. And in the entire life, 99.99% people will not be able to make even 10% of their total worth. So, listen, coming back to the discussion, coming back to the discussion. One scholar is writing, they are my ideal. Okay, connect me on the LinkedIn, and whenever you will start in any company, I will never invest. Coming back to next point. So, second case. Let's say that if I'm talking about the banking system, and in the banking system, bank is used to maintain only addresses that customer is writing in the forms. Yes, it is. So let me give you a simple situation. For example, let's say one customer opened a bank account in 2007. In 2007, he opened bank account. Let's say that his address belonged to Delhi. Then everyone, in 2012, he shifted to next city, that is Mumbai. There he actually got some rent agreement, and on behalf of rent agreement, he opened account in some other local branch of Mumbai. In 2017, let's say he is located to another city, that is Hyderabad. And in the Hyderabad, what happened? He again take the rent agreement, and on the behalf of rent agreement, he took some loan. And then what happened? He did loan default. Then what happened? He did loan default. And let's say that if he did loan default, so what do you think? The last third bank, is it having information only about the address that is provided by him? Or the bank will be able to access all the addresses that were available in the banking system? Option 1 or option 2? Option number 2 is the correct answer. Why? Because once in the banking system with your PAN number, any address is entered, it will remain there forever. It will remain there forever, no matter even if you are doing address updation, still it is there. So in such condition, can I say I'm talking about case number 3, when the customer is having more than but not finite addresses? Clear everybody? Third situation. So for the hazard relationship, 3 cases I have discussed to you, and in all the 3 cases, I am going to discuss with you example. So what is granularity mismatch? I hope this point is clear to all, and then it will be good to discuss about all the 3 cases. Shall I proceed further, everyone? Yes or no? Yes, it is. So if you wanted to handle the situation number 1, then definitely to handle the situation number 1, we have to talk about 2 annotations. One of the annotation is called @embeddable, and another annotation is also available. That annotation is called @embedded. One annotation is called @embeddable annotation, and one is called @embedded annotation. So can I say that I wanted to embed the object of address class? I want to embed the address of object of address class within the customer. Yes or no? Yes, it is. So for the address class, I have to use the annotation that is called @embeddable annotation, and the entity in which I wanted to embed. The entity in which I want to embed, there I have to use @embedded annotation. Getting my point? Okay, so this is the first approach. Now, if I'm talking about the generated table structure, so if I'm talking about the generated customer table, into the generated customer table, see, what will be the table structure? I'm going to discuss to you, but first of all, what is my demand? According to Java programming model, according to Java programming model, can I say when you are creating object of customer? So at the time of creating the object of customer, memory location will be occupied for reference variable address also. Yes. And definitely the reference variable of address can point to object of address also. Yes. But the second thing is that everyone, if the same thing I wanted to do into the databases, then to do the same thing in the database, initially I am discussing to you only case number 1. And before asking any question, let me complete first. Simple situation is that I wanted to embed object of address class into the object of customer. The object that is to be embedded, it has to be declared with @embeddable annotation. First point clear? The object that you want to embed, it has to be declared with @embeddable annotation, and this time no need to use entity class, or this time no need to use @entity. Is that clear? This is one difference you should keep into mind. If you are using @embeddable, then no need to use @entity there. Second, the field that you wanted to embed, or for example, let's say that if I'm talking about address, so address is a reference variable that is used to contain the address actually. So there I need to use the another annotation. The another annotation is called @embedded annotation. Okay, two annotations are declared. Now the question arises that, sir, how the table structure will be declared? Will there be two different tables or will there be only one table? So my answer is there will be exactly one table only. Is that clear? Such that in the single table, the name of the table is going to be definitely customer. The name of the table is going to be customer. And second thing is that the first column is going to be ID, integer. Definitely it's going to be primary key. Second column is going to be name, varchar, size is going to be 255. Third thing that we are going to have is annual underscore income. Definitely the data type is going to be double. For the address, the first thing we will have is city. We are writing varchar, size we are writing is 255. For the state, we are writing varchar 255. And finally, we will have zip code also. For the zip code, we will have the value integer type. This is what table structure will be generated. Getting my point? This is the first way. Now, if you are having any ask in this approach, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I will take example. Shall I proceed, everyone? Okay. So let me come to Mr. STS. And again, I have to create a new project file. Then I'm talking about the new into the new other. Then I'm talking about the Maven project. Within the Maven project, clicking on the next, then clicking on the next. And I'm talking about Mac Maven archetype dash quick start. So this is what exactly I'm having. Then actually I have to specify the name. So I'm saying that granularity, GRANULARITY, granularity mismatch example, granularity mismatch example, then clicking on the finish. Then clicking on the finish, it is created. First of all, I have to deal with the dependencies. To deal with the dependencies, once let me open the pom.xml file. And from the pom.xml file, I'm taking both the dependencies. After taking the dependencies, going to granularity mismatch, going to pom.xml. And within the pom.xml, first of all, let me change the version. After changing the version, let me update the dependencies and go to the test file. Into the test file, I have to remove this code permanently. This is not useful as of now. Saving this file. Then definitely the next pointer that I have to do is I need the next file. The name of the next file is going to be the persistence.xml file. The name of the next file is persistence.xml file. So within the src, within the main, see, directly I think it will be a good option to directly copy the resource folder into the main. So directly this folder is copied. Persistence.xml is available for us. Persistence.xml is available for us. Within the persistence.xml, for example, let's say that this time I'm talking about the example. This is what exactly I'm calling is customer connect. And because we wanted to get the table created for us, so definitely we have to use hibernate.auto. So hibernate.hbm2dll.auto. And for this value that I need to write down is update. Clear, everyone? How to create the file? Yes or no? And definitely the database is something that I have to create. So name of the project is granularity mismatch example. I'm coming here. I wanted to create a new database. So here I'm writing create database, right click, and I wanted to use the same database. Then definitely to use the same database, I am writing it here. After writing it here, then same example, I need to update here also. And after updating the same example, hibernate.hbm2.auto, the only DDL, not DLL. I was actually thinking that something is wrong here. Let me check the spelling once. Let me check the spelling once. This site cannot be reached. I know. Then I have to go to google.com. After going to google.com, then I'm typing so Hibernate hbm2.dll. Seems okay. Seems okay. Then everyone, okay, so this thing is available. First of all, control N. I'm going to create a class. Name of the class that I'm writing is address. On the address, the first thing that I have to write down is at the rate. Let me update the project. Let me update the project. Update project, Maven project, force update. Okay, it's updated. After getting updated, now embeddable is available here. Again, I'm creating an app test. Let me check. Yes. Update references. Then better to close the test cases. I'm into the addresses. Now it's okay. So first thing I'm writing is private string. Let's say I'm talking about city. Next thing that we are writing is this is going to be private string. And let me talk it. This is going to be state. Then I'm talking next one. This is going to be private integer zip code. Okay, semicolon. Thereafter, everyone, if you wanted to generate the getter setter method, you can generate parameters constructor you wanted to generate, you can generate. There is no problem at all. So first of all, generating the constructor using the field, yes, it is generated. Thereafter, I am talking about the getter setter method. They are also generated. And after calling the getter setter method, actually zoom panel is floating on the buttons. That's why this happened. Zoom panel was also floating on my side. That's why I was not able to see the button. So this thing is also done. If you wanted to add the default constructor, then definitely you can add the default constructor also, no problem. So some pointers we have already done, everyone. And now going to the next part. So, tung, 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 tung. Two-string method also you can provide, no problem. Okay, so two-string method is also provided for you. So one thing is created here. So address is embeddable. Then I'm talking about the next class. Name of the next class that I'm writing is going to be the customer class. Into the customer class, that first thing that I need to write down is going to be entity. Next thing that I wanted to write down is going to be at the rate ID. Then definitely I have to talk about the generated value. Into the generated value, I have to talk about the strategy, and the strategy is going to be, hello, generation type dot auto, or we can write down identity also. Mm, Done. Then I'm writing here integer ID is the name of column that I'm writing. Thereafter, I'm writing private string name, and this is also private. Private string name is also there. Thereafter, I'm talking about private double, and I'm writing here annual income. After writing here annual income, then definitely I have to take private address. Then I'm writing here at the rate embedded. Clear, everyone? How to use this embedded and embeddable? So then we are talking about generate constructor from superclass. This is done. Then I'm talking about generate constructor from the field. This is also something that is done. Thereafter, we are talking about the getter and setter method. This is also created. And thereafter, we are talking about the toString method. So definitely the toString method is also done. So this is how exactly we have provided all the information. Is that clear, everyone? Shall I go for one persist example? I think that will be sufficient because all the tables will be created there automatically. The entire table will be created there automatically. Yes. Then going to next file. The name of the next file is going to be app.java. So this time actually everybody, because I'm going to take example of the persist only. So definitely to take example of the persist only. First of all, I'm talking about entity manager factory. EMF equal to, then we are writing here that is persistence dot create entity manager factory. And this time if I'm talking about the name of the connection unit, then definitely name of the connection unit here is actually name of the persistence unit is customer connect. Then definitely using this EMF, we are talking about the create entity manager. So we are writing entity manager EM equal to, then the point that we are writing is EM dot create entity manager. Finally, it comes to EM dot close also. And definitely I have to begin the transaction also. I have to get the transaction also. If I'm talking about the transaction, then definitely this is going to be entity transaction ET equal to et dot get transaction. Then it will be good to call begin method. After the begin method, it will be good to call the commit method. Okay. Finally, it will be good to create an object of address. So we are writing address equal to new address. For the address, the very first thing I have to specify is the city. Let's say name of the city is, we are writing, it's okay. Let's say I'm writing here Delhi. Delhi is city also. You have to write down for the state name also. For the state code, let's say that this is the zip code that actually we are mentioning. So what is problem with you, dear? The constructor string is undefined. This is required to be zip code. Zip code is an integer value. Similarly, everyone, if I'm talking about the customer, so customer CST equal to new customer, and for the customer ID is something I have created auto increment. If ID is auto increment, then this is not required to specify the ID here. No problem. Then I'm talking about the name. Name is going to be ABC. Thereafter annual income. Let's say annual income is 2.4 LPA. Thereafter we are writing, no, this is so less. Let's say 6.4 LPA. Thereafter we are talking about the address. Then everyone finally, can I call something like this? Shall I try to run this code? Nothing special. See, once I am summarizing, into the address I have used @embeddable annotation. When I am using @embeddable annotation into the address class, no need to use @entity. Rest everything is normal like a Pojo class. First point clear, everyone? Use @embeddable. Do not use @entity. Rest of everything is same as a plain old Java object. Second thing, if I'm talking about the customer class, then definitely customer class is an entity class. The one column ID is auto increment. Second is available name. Third is available annual income. Because I wanted to use address within the customer and I wanted to create the mapping in the database also. That's why I have to use @embed also. And after creating @embed also, then definitely toString method, etc. is remaining same. Into the app.java, from the persistence, I'm getting the connection, then creating the entity manager, creating the address object, thereafter creating the customer object and saving the customer object. Into the persistence.xml, you can see that table will be generated automatically. So right click, run as Java application. Let us see what exactly it is showing us. Can you see there is a create table statement available? Create table customer ID integer not null auto increment. Then there is city available, state available, zip code available. So can I say that within the customer table, all the columns for the addresses are created? Yes or no? Yes, it is. So let me try to come here and thereafter I'm writing here show tables. When I'm writing show tables here, it is customer, only one table is here. If I'm writing describe customer, how many? If I'm writing describe customer, so you can see that city, state, zip code, annual income is there. If I'm writing here select star from, the name of the table is customer with semicolon. So can you see that all the information is available here? Yes or no? Yes, it is. So first strategy is clear. This was case number 1. Hmm. Now everyone, that's all for the day. That's all for the day. This is starting of the day 15 content for the day 15. We have to complete this as a relationship for the two more cases also. Then we will talk about the inheritance mapping. After the inheritance mapping on the day number 16, we will talk about the join operations in Hibernate. In the join operations, I will discuss to you about the four type of relationships: one to many, one to one, one to many to one, and many to many. These four type of relationship will be discussed to you on the day number 16. Is that clear? Roadmap of next 2 days is also clear. Okay, go to the LMS platform. Please fill the feedback. It is compulsory. And we have done for the day. Anand, anything to announce from your side? Seems no. Let me stop the recording.